good morning. I feel like such a fucking pain. I'm sick of myself. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm sick of myself. I'm scunnered with my own self being at the moment. I feel like in trimester 3, like obviously these vlogs are going to be getting much shorter as well. As time goes on, I've found like I've either been managing my feelings a bit more, so I've not come on here and chatted as much. There hasn't been as much to update you on, and the little snippets that I have updated you on, there's not been much change, so I've not been on as often. But I feel like in the last couple of little vlog entries, I was a bit more upbeat and a bit better than, you know, trimester 1 especially. And I was feeling better about everything. And as we grow ever closer to the other side of this, I'm now feeling shit. So shit mentally, not physically. I mean, I'm tired, of course. The bigger I get, I'm like, absolutely tired even going for a walk and things now. But the reason I came on this morning is because I had my 32-week scan / appointment, which if you've been watching these vlogs, you'll know I've been having scans every kind of 2 to 3 weeks since November. So it's not like that's a new thing. It's not like I've had a 32-week scan like other ladies might get. I've been having scans throughout. So I went yesterday, and as I've kind of mentioned as well, my insulin requirements are ever increasing. My ratios are going up, so I'm having to take more insulin for each meal I'm eating. Even if I don't finish the meal, my blood sugar is still relatively high after it, which is a right pain in the tits. And my basal rates, my background rate insulin as well on my pump has had to go up as well in various different times of the day. It's had to increase. At the moment, I mean, the team are still very much like, you're doing your absolute best. Unfortunately, with diabetes, this is just the way it is sometimes. Sometimes, even with really good control and trying the absolute best, it doesn't avoid, you know, the other complications that come along with being diabetic and being pregnant. So far, preeclampsia has not set in. Let's keep our fingers crossed for that. And with me already having chronic high blood pressure, let's keep our fingers doubly crossed for that. But so far, blood pressure is okay, and I don't really have any other symptoms of that. I do have slight swelling in the feet and ankles, but I think that's just normal pregnancy swelling, as a lot of women do get. I've not got any crazy amounts of swelling in the feet and ankles. And so yesterday when I went, as I say, they were like, look, your control, it's my HbA1c at the moment is sitting at 42, I think, which is a little higher than I would like, but is certainly not by any means high, especially while pregnant and your placenta's causing havoc and the hormones coming off that and everything. Hormones from being pregnant are kind of causing your insulin body to resist it. Sorry, excuse me. And this means that baby obviously gets more glucose. This means they grow a bit more, and that's why diabetic ladies have bigger babies, or bigger babies. This is what you hear a lot of the time, diabetic ladies have bigger babies. If you are a diabetic person watching this, you will already probably be aware of that. But because I was doing so well and being so stable with my blood sugars, I really hoped I would avoid big sudden spikes in growth. And the last 3 scans we've went for, I think the first one of the 3, they were 2.6 ounces, pounds and ounces, sorry, 2 pounds 6 ounces approximately. These scans are not perfect, they are approximate. Sometimes they don't even like to tell you because they don't want you to get your mind fixated on something. And then the next one we went to, which was 2 weeks later, sorry, was 3 pounds 7 ounces, which was still big for the size when I went for the scan. So that was 2 weeks apart, and then now 3 weeks apart, which was the one I went to yesterday. And the reason they didn't bring me back for 3 weeks was because they said everything was looking so good. And basically I got told yesterday baby is 5 pounds 10 approximately, which is pretty damn big for being 32 weeks. Oh, sorry. I've got a friend visiting. Oh my god. Can you see her? My house is an absolute tip as well. This is Maisie. You saying hello? Hello? Oh. That's Alan's mum and dad's dog. She's been in vlogs before, but we're looking after her at the moment because Alan's mum and dad were trying to get away for a wee bit. So they're away for a few days, so we're looking after the dog. And she just turned on the telly. I was like, why is that telly just came on? Yeah, so baby is 5 pounds 10 ounces approximately, which obviously for 32 weeks is rather large. And I was really hoping, they said they wouldn't let me go past 38 weeks, but I was really hoping I'd get to 38 weeks. And after the news yesterday, it's kind of been decided that it's probably looking a little more like we'll put you in, and they have provisionally scheduled me in for a section at 37 weeks. And if I would like to be induced instead, I can go in as early as 36. And I mentally don't know what to do. I'm really struggling because there are risks and pros on both sides. There are risks and pros for me and for baby on both sides. And I'm just at a point, I didn't want to cry in this because I feel like these vlogs are just going to be me moping all the way through them. And I wish I could have been more positive. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm sick of myself for being so fucking downtrodden. Because I'm not that kind of person. Like, I'm a skeptic, I'm a cynic, whatever you want to call it, but I'm very much usually like, I'm not going to let this beat me. And I feel like this is beating me because I'm so scared to make the wrong decision. I'm so worried. If, for instance, I'm so worried that, like, it's one of these things. I think there's all these risks involved with having them naturally. For me, for my heart, the monitoring involved, being hooked up to a lot of drips and lines and stuff at the time, because I would have to be induced. I've been told by cardiology and anaesthetics they would want an epidural in early because that will aid my blood pressure, in staying down, because epidurals can make you a bit hypotensive and give you lower blood pressure, but for me that's a benefit because they don't want mine going the other way. So I would have all that. I feel like there's no option of doing this on my own, and I'm not too proud to admit that I need the help. I'm not one of these women that's desperately has the urge to be like, I want to do everything all natural, I don't want a medicated birth. I don't feel that way. But what I'm finding really difficult is even the antenatal classes that we've done were all really geared towards this kind of, your body can do this, you're a woman, like we've been doing it for hundreds of years, and the last resort is kind of an epidural, and you might get taken to theatre. Whereas I feel like all those options were just, they're not there. And in a way that doesn't bother me, because as I say, I'm not one of these women who's like, I want to advocate for myself, I should be able to do this, I should be able to do that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be that way. And if you're somebody who's hired a doula or something for saying sake, and you're like, you know what, I really want somebody to be able to say, do you know what, we maybe don't need to go for the section, let her do it herself for another couple hours. If you want to do that, fine. I don't have any issue with anybody wanting to do that, but all of this information that I'm being given and about women's rights and positive births and people giving births in pools at home and how easy it is to actually do it on our own, or we're built for this. I just want to tell them to fuck off. And it's not my medical team, it's not the team at the hospital, it's like the antenatal stuff, things you've seen online, groups maybe you've joined, or like apps and stuff, and they're like, don't go for induction, it's so dangerous, baby's not ready to come, if they need to induce you, baby will come when they want. And I'm like, but some people need it, and I feel like all of the information I've been given does not relate to me. It just doesn't. And the doctor I spoke to yesterday, one of the obstetric consultants, was so kind, and she was just like, don't do them then. Don't do the antenatal classes. She was like, just fucking ignore them, because if they're making you feel like that, it's not worth it. And it does, I just feel like I'm letting myself down almost. It's going to be, in some ways it's going to be better for baby if they're born vaginally. It's better for them, for their lungs, because as they move down through the birth canal and all that, it helps get them into breathing, it helps getting all the mucus out the lungs and stuff. It's better for them. But if they're 10 pound odd and they get stuck halfway, and I'm starting to struggle and they're starting to struggle, and I need to be whipped off anyway, and then that might not happen, I might squeeze them out, no bother. And then there's the other thing of like, I've only got 60 minutes to do it, but I ended up looking into that. That's a relatively decent amount of time for stage 2. Like, it's okay. The pushing stage might be over much quicker than that, but it might not be. And if you're having a baby that's a lot bigger, it definitely might not be. And then, so I'm like, do I want to induce myself? And there's all these horror stories about induction, and I know you shouldn't read Google and all that, especially as a nurse. I'm like, don't fucking read Google, that's stupid. But there is part of me that's like, people will say like, baby's not ready to come, so that's why induction's so hard. And I'm like, so if it's so hard, why am I going to put myself through that, or put them through that as well? And if I wait to 37 weeks and get a section, because they're not being born naturally and vaginally, then that puts them at more risk, because they will already need to be monitored for blood sugars. Because I'm diabetic, it means the baby's blood sugars will probably drop, and they will need feeds more often, because they're used to my blood sugars being that wee bit higher. And if they come out cesarean, then they don't have the help with the lungs, so they might then end up needing to go to the neonatal ICU. And I don't want to hurt them. I just don't want to do anything that's going to hurt them or damage them, or oh, I'm so mentally fucked at the moment, because like any pregnant woman, you don't know how it's going to go. But I think most women think, right, when we get contractions at this point, we're going to go to the hospital, and there's a bit more planning. And although mine has been planned in such a way that there's all these options that have been taken away, I don't know if that makes it better or worse, because I don't want to be the one to make these decisions. I don't want autonomy on it. I want someone to tell me what's going to be the safest way, and I don't think anybody can do that. And it's shit, because you don't want to do the wrong thing. And again, I'm aware I'm 32 weeks pregnant and probably very emotional, but just fed up seeing all these bloody, I hate to say it, but proactive, positive birth companies and fucking doulas and all that. I'm like, take your witchcraft and shove it up your arse. I don't want it. I just want to know somebody's going to tell me, this is how we're going to get your baby out, it's safe. I don't want all this pride of like, women can do this and things like that. And I don't think it's wrong that women want that, if that's your choice and your option to do it. But see, if you very much want the medical help, it shouldn't make you feel like as if you're a lesser person. And that's how it's making me feel just now. I don't feel like less of a person because, you know, some people would maybe feel like if they took the medical options, they're less of a person, less of a woman, because they haven't managed to do it themselves. I'm the complete fucking opposite. I'm like, no, just tell me what's going to be safe. And maybe that's because of my job, maybe that's because of my profession. I'm very much like, you guys tell me, you as a professional, I don't want to. And I feel like because there's so much around women's rights and birth rights and having your say of having your baby and how you want your birth to go, they're almost very tentative with me. Like they don't want to say one way or the other, they're not going to tell me. So they're definitely leaving it up to me. So they've gave me the consent form for the section, and they've given me lots of information about induction away with me yesterday, and I'm to go back in 2 weeks, and I guess we'll see what size baby is then. And I feel a little bit like, as well, like I'd mentioned in earlier vlogs, I tried the Guardian with my Medtronic pump and it didn't work. It was terrible, and they were supposed to contact me about Dexcom, or what they ended up saying was, let's get another rep for you. Like, I think the rep you had wasn't very good and didn't explain it well, so let's try the sensors again, basically the Guardian sensors again, because that's going to help with monitoring. And then it's never been done and nobody's got in contact with me about it, so I've just continued using my Libra. And as I say, like, I'm trying my absolute best with it. In the morning is the worst. Like, see, as soon as I eat breakfast in the morning, blood sugar jumps up all the way up to 15, even if I've had like one slice of toast. It's so annoying. And I find my appetite more as I get bigger, obviously. Like, it's so much more reduced. Like, I'm not eating, you know, pancakes for breakfast and then followed by a bloody pastry and a coffee. Like, I'm not eating loads of food. I'm eating less food almost than I ever was. And maybe not from the first trimester, but I'm eating a lot less food than I would pre-pregnancy, and it's just because I feel uncomfortable, which I'm sure again is very normal at this stage of pregnancy. I would give you a bump update, but at the moment I am really not feeling great. I just feel rotten. What I might do, it's 5 to 11 and I'm meeting a friend today. I'm actually meeting a friend who's very close, it's my best friend, very close friend, and she's had 2 sections, and I'm so glad I'm getting to meet her because she's really realistic about things as well. And she kind of said to me yesterday before we arranged to meet, like, fuck what everybody else thinks, Alana. Like, you just do what's best for you and your baby. Like, don't fucking read all that shit. Like, fuck these women who are giving it all this perfect birth story pish. Just fuck them. And it's not to put those people down. I don't mean it that way. I think a lot of people probably get a lot of benefit from things like that, but I also think, like, it's just, I just feel so far removed from it because of the interventions I know I'm going to need. Like, there's not a matter of I want to try this on my own. Like, it wouldn't even cross my mind to try it on my own, because it would just be stupid to try it on my own. Oh, do you know what? No, I want to stay at home and do it. And like, who's looking after my insulin? Who's managing my pain relief? Who's managing my blood pressure? Who's watching what my heart's doing? My baby's 12 pounds and I'm trying to squeeze him out at fucking 42 weeks. I'll give birth to a toddler. I just feel so far removed from it. That's why. So my friend, I'm meeting her at 2 o'clock, so I'm going to get a shower. That's why I wanted to film this before, because I knew I would end up crying and I didn't want to do it once I was ready to go and see her. So I'm going to go have a shower, freshen up a wee bit, and then maybe once I've freshened up a bit I'll show you my bump, because it is remarkably bigger than the last time you would have seen it. But I'm telling you, this is no joke, pregnancy, is it? No joke whatsoever. It's so hard, and it's just, I'm so worried that I'm going to make the wrong decision, because I feel like it would be better for baby if they were born vaginally, for them, if they managed to get out successfully. But the anxiety around everything going smoothly, it might be better for me and for them if everything didn't go smoothly, if they came out the sunroof. I'm not ashamed to say I feel like that's an easier, more controlled, for my mind even, more controlled option. I'm not ashamed to say that, but I just wish I knew, wish somebody could tell me, and nobody can. And they never will. And Alan's been an absolute an absolute rock. I couldn't ask for a better partner. I really couldn't. Because he's told me, like, whatever way we do this, whatever way you want to do this, we're all going to be fine. Like, all three of us are going to be fine. And in 4 weeks, maybe sooner, we'll have a little person here to add to the family. And he's just so positive. And I'm so lucky that he's like that and so supportive. It's me that's the mess. It's me that's the mess that out. Oh, sorry. Right. Trying to stop crying. I feel like I need to get into a more positive mindset. Not like positive, I'm going to do this on my own. Just positive in the sense that whatever happens, it's going to be fine. I need to go into this with that kind of frame of mind because I can't go another potentially 4 to 5 weeks and be worried about this the way I am. It's hard, but I'm really looking forward to seeing my friend because she is so realistic and she's been there and she's done it, and we've obviously spoke about it before, but at the moment I feel like I need someone who's been there and can talk to me about it. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. As I said, I'm going to get ready to go and meet her. I'm not meeting her till 2, but I'll get myself sorted and then I will come back and show you my bump once I've decided what clothes to put on as well, because the ever increasing size for me is making that a bit difficult. Although I've still not bought like lots of maternity stuff, mainly just bought things in a size up and what have you, so it's been fine, it's been okay that way. But yeah, I feel like I've let my YouTube side of things slide as well with the normal videos because this has all been on my mind again, so it's like it hasn't been my priority. But I'm gonna go and try and get a wee thing sorted to put a video up today, a normal one, a Vive one, and I'll put that up and then I'll go and see my friend and I will check in with you with the bump. And I have managed to get the back room strips and things. We're getting it plastered next week, so that will all be in the kind of reveal or makeover or whatever of the nursery or baby's room, whatever you want to call it. So that will be in that. But I just feel better even for coming on and having that chat, even though I know people won't watch this till weeks later. Maybe by that time I've had a baby already. But sometimes it's quite therapeutic, it's quite cathartic just to sit down in front of a camera and get your thoughts out sometimes. But anyway, we're going to leave it there and I will check in with you again once I'm in more appropriate attire to show you what's happening with my body and my bump.